Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to open your eyes and ears up to some of the travails and tribulations that take place throughout our cities, our states, our country, and sometimes around the world. And we got to get into this story about ICE and immigration. There has become a panacea of chaos and disruption throughout our country here recently, starting with the Biden and Harris presidential run in their 4 years with the open borders. And now we have like 15 million to 20 million illegal immigrants that have not been properly vetted, that have entered the country. And it has put a ton of pressure on legitimate immigrants that are here on tourist visas, work visas, and student visas for immigrants that are trying to do the right thing and trying to enhance the United States of America to be in a better place. This influx of these illegal immigrants that have entered during the Biden and Harris administration has caused a lot of chaos and disruption. And I think our government has dropped the ball. And it makes you wonder, has the Trump administration been a little bit over exuberant in trying to arrest folks based on their immigration status? We do not have enough immigration courts and judges. For example, in the state of Missouri, there's one immigration court system in the entire state of Missouri. So if you live in St. Louis and you're trying to figure out your immigration status through the courts, you got to travel to Kansas City. So what do you think of big major cities that have a lot of immigrants, like New York City, Chicago, California, Los Angeles, Houston? Their courts are being inundated and heavily burdened with trying to get people their immigration status or to become legal U.S. citizens. There are not enough courts, there are not enough judges. But remember, we brought in 15 to 20 million illegal immigrants in the Biden and Harris administration, and now it is catapulted into a hole where there is a certain level of stoppage for folks trying to become legalized citizens. At one point, years ago, it generally took about 5 to 7 years to become a nationalized U.S. citizen. Now they're saying with the influx of all of these illegal immigrants, it could be 12 to 20 years before you find out your immigration status. So there's a lot of confusion in the courts. I think our government has dropped the ball. You have to ask, well, did the Biden and Harris administration just open the borders and created all this chaos? And or do you think in the Trump administration that they are crossing the line of judicial prejudice against people who are immigrants on different types of visas, whether it's a tourist visa, a work visa, a student visa? Are they showing judicial prejudice on trying to remove many of these people of color? That is a big question, because now you're seeing that ICE and the immigration department is arresting people that have been, by all measures and means, good citizens. They are arresting firemen on the job. They are arresting police officers on the job. And it makes you wonder, how could these people have immigration issues, but they went through background checks as a police officer, as a fireman, to especially as a police officer, to get a gun, to arrest people, to be on the right side of the law. And now the Trump administration is arresting all types of folks on the job, no matter if you're a doctor, police officer, judge, fireman, it doesn't make a difference. And there's a lot of confusion. And one case happened recently, right out of Chicago, where a Hanover Park police officer was recently arrested by ICE. And there's tons of confusion on his immigration status, his background checks, was he properly vetted to become a cop? And this young man is only 25 years old. He came over here on a tourist visa 10 years ago, and now there's issues. And yes, President Trump's administration, ICE, arrested him. So let's get into this confusing story, and we have to wonder, did the Biden-Harris administration just open the borders and let everybody in, creating this chaos and confusion throughout our country, in our courtrooms? There's not enough immigration courts and judges. And you have to wonder, or is the Trump administration now, with them trying to clean it up, are they overstepping their legal boundaries? So let's get into this one. As I said, a Hanover Park police officer was arrested by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement agents last couple months ago, or a month ago. And he has been released on bond as he awaits the outcome of his immigration case. So this guy, Radul Bojovic, 25 years old, was arrested by ICE agents on October 15th, so a month ago, accused of overstaying his tourist visa by more than a decade. But village officials insist he had a valid work authorization form. Hanover Park officials have insisted that Mr. Bojovic had valid federal work authorization forms that were recently renewed. So here's a paperwork confusion from our federal government in D.C. all the way down to Hanover Park in Chicago. So an ICE spokesperson confirmed that Bojovic was released from custody on October 31st. So he got arrested October 15th, and October 31st, he was released from custody after an immigration judge granted him a $2,500 immigration bond 2 days earlier. His immigration case is still pending. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has said Bojovic, who is from Montenegro, was living in the U.S. on a tourist visa that expired March 31st, 2015. Now follow this story because it's real confusing. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, also criticized the village of Hanover Park for employing Bojovic as a police officer, saying it was illegal for him to possess a firearm. However, Hanover Park officials said he was hired in January in full compliance with federal and state law. Before hiring Officer Bojovic, the village confirmed that he was legally authorized by the federal government. He was authorized by the federal government to work in the United States. So you got to remember, as a police officer, they're going to do a state and federal background check on you. That's first and foremost. Even to be a teacher at a school, there's going to be a federal and a state background check. At the time of his hire, Officer Bojovic presented the village with a work authorization card, which was issued by the federal government's U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. So he got a work card, a work authorization card from the ICE, the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. So how can ICE say that he's not a legitimate immigrant that can work in the United States? There's some hypocrisy and confusion there. The card was valid and recently renewed, the Hanover Park Police Department said in a statement at the time of Bojovic's arrest. Police also said Bojovic passed a criminal background check with the FBI and Illinois State Police, which is what I just said. Happens with police officers, with teachers, all the time. And that a memo from the U.S. Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives on January 5th, 2024, confirmed his immigration status which allows him to carry a firearm while on duty. So all the alphabet agencies with our U.S. government, when vetting this gentleman to become a police officer in Chicago and Hanover Park, all checked off the box that he was okay and was a legalized immigrant to work in the United States. And now, under the Trump administration, they're saying no way. They went and arrested this 25-year-old guy who's trying to do the right thing, and arrested him and gave him bond, treating him like an everyday criminal. And mind you, here is the dichotomy and the hypocrisy. The man is a police officer in Hanover Park trying to do the right thing, not a criminal. The bottom line is that all information that they received from the federal government indicated that Officer Bojovic is legally authorized to work in the United States as a police officer. Clearly, without that authorization, the village would not have hired him. Additionally, the village has not received any notice from any federal or state agency that his work authorization status has ever been revoked. Bojovic has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome of the immigration proceedings against him. Police said if he is allowed to stay in the United States and remains authorized to work here, he will be returned to full duty as a police officer's status. After his release from custody, Hanover Park Police said Bojovic remains on administrative leave. This whole immigration thing is so confusing, and if I was in that position today, I would be nervous as all get out, whether you're on a work visa, a student visa, or a tourist visa. This Trump administration is going all out, it seems, trying to remove anybody of color that they do not want in the United States, whether they are here legally and or illegally. Is ICE, the ICE agency of our U.S. government, overstepping their boundaries and going after any and everybody? They have arrested firemen, firefighters. They have arrested police officers. They have arrested all kinds of folks that are immigrants, and they don't care what their status is. Even though this police officer got the approval from all the alphabet agencies and our federal government, the Trump administration is still saying that he's an illegal immigrant based on an expired tourist visa and that he needs to be removed. We need as many great police officers as possible, and this does not make any sense.